In this video, I am going to talk about all that refers to teaching little kids, including the different learning styles that we can find in the classroom. If you have had the opportunity to work with children or simply to take care of a child, you should know that it is not an easy job. Even though children are adorable, charming, and lovely, there are some children who are conceited. It means that they like to do everything they want, and if they can't do that, they just start crying. There are some times that they are a pain in the neck because they start crying, and if you don't know how to do that, how to deal with this situation, you are going to get stressed and angry easily. So, if you really want to success in your job, you must be very patient. If you want to teach little kids, it's important that you love them, because if you do that just to get a job, you are going to fail and you will hate this nice occupation. Talking about their learning process, I can say that teaching to them is a little complicated because they are playful, extroverted, and noisy. So it is important to mention that children learn better through games. So if we want to teach them, we can use games. But we don't have to play games all the time to teach them, because they can get accustomed just to play, and when you try to teach them something, they are going to hate you. Also, when teaching them, you should be very active. You cannot teach them in a passive way. Little kids get bored easily, so you have to mix or combine the activities that you are going to do during the class. You can combine quiet activities with active. So, if you do that, you are going to avoid that your students get bored. Sometimes you have to act as a clown to catch your students' attention. So, a good idea could be to make students laugh. You can achieve that by making jokes. But sometimes you also have to be a little strict. Also, if you want to get your students' attention, you shouldn't talk very much, because kids get bored if the teacher is talking and talking and talking. You should let your students to participate, because they should be the people who is always talking and participating. Talking about the learning styles, I can mention that we can find 7 big groups, which are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, verbal, logical, interpersonal, and intrapersonal. But if we are working with little kids, we can identify 3 main learning styles, which are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Children who have the visual learning style learn better through images, graphics, flashcards, and tables. Also, they like to underline information with colors to memorize better. They like to draw pictures and to take notes. Visual learners see things that others can't see. Another learning style that we can identify in little kids is the auditory learning style. Auditory learners really like to listen to music, and they don't like written work. Auditory learners like to talk and listen. Kinesthetic learners have the following features. Kinesthetic learners like to give instructions using their body. They learn better through movement and sense. One important phrase that kinesthetic learners have, and I consider that is true, is that kinesthetic do it to learn. So these were the most important learning styles that we can find in little kids. As you can notice, they are visual, kinesthetic, and auditory because they are very active. They don't like to be passive or to just listen to the teacher. They like to interact each other. So it is important that we, as future teachers, learn to identify the learning styles in our students, because we cannot work with assumptions and teach them as if they have the same learning style. To identify these learning styles, we can apply some easy tests that we can find on the internet. And also, we have to observe the attitude of each learner. As a conclusion, I can mention that everyone processes and learns new information in different ways. There are three main cognitive learning styles. As I mentioned, they are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. The common characteristics of each learning style listed below can help you understand how you learn and what methods of learning best fits you. Also, most people learn best through a combination of the three types of learning style. But everybody is different. Everybody learns different. And finally, if you want to know what is your learning style or how you learn better, you just have to apply one of these tests that you can find, or you can observe carefully to the way you learn. Learning is a funny process, so you have to help your students to acquire or to learn something, in this case the language, in a funny way, because as you know, the majority of people don't like to learn the languages. So you have to create strategies and methods to help them to make this process a funny activity. Thank you very much for your attention, and that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and please, if you are going to work with little kids, please don't forget to follow these important pieces of advice. I'm sure that they will help you a lot, and blessings.